recording. All right. Yes, it has started. All right. So my name is Claudia. First thing, I didn't mention my name, but it's probably showing on your screen. I'm working with LRDG. It's been 3 years now. My background is with operations, so I'm pretty good with the tech side of the work I do. So that's why I'm doing the training today. I'm also supporting the tutors from a recent change of department. So it's a bit everything that I'm working in. So I will be showing to you the portal today. So basically that's the website, the interface that we use, that we at LRDG use to track things and view reports and stuff like that. You might also use it just to follow up on your learners or just view the material that we have online, because the learners will also be doing self-study on their end. So it's like a all-included interface where every user can find their part. So I did my document in French, but I can just follow up on it, and I can share it with you at the end, but I can translate it, no problem. So just for me, that we don't forget anything. So to connect, it's the lrdgportal.com, like this. You can also go on Google's and just type LRDG alone or LRDG portal would be ideal. You might stumble upon, if you type on the LRDG, the first link here, it doesn't say portal on the website URL. You need to go on a login where it says portal. I suggest that you save that as a favorite anyway. LRDGportal.com is also very easy to remember, but it's very easy to find online as well. You will have possibly an LRDG online.com email. Otherwise, there will be a registration form sent to your email, the one that you'll be using for the purposes of your work with us. So basically, you will receive a quick form. You have to put in your info when you create your own password. So we don't create that for you. If you don't have one yet, it's just a quick question of creating it. Junavel, I think, is your account manager. She will be overseeing the technical side, and she will make sure that you receive the link to the registration form. So once you have activated your account, you can log in simply using the username is the email address you used in the registration form where it was sent to you, and the password that you created. Then you click login very simply. If you don't remember the password you created or you need to create a new one, you can always click reset here. You have access to frequently asked questions here and links if you want to go on our socials. I will not connect as myself today because we are viewing the portal as it would be for a tutor, which is not my role. So I impersonated the Professori Tournesoli, who is a fake tutor that we use just for training. Oops, sorry. All right, so when you log in, you arrive to the homepage by default, Accueil. So there might be pop-ups here that would be info that we want to pass on, some bugs or whatever, some maintenance that will occur. So you can take consideration of that and then close it. When you are on the homepage, or wherever you are in the portal, you can go at the bottom and switch language. I will do that because it's going to be easier. If you have a pop-up, it will always pop up when you come back to the homepage. That's just a heads up. On the homepage, you have several widgets here, but I don't think you'll be really using them. I would let you discover them, and if you have questions regarding those, you can definitely notify us. There is a messagery on the portal. It's available here as well. We don't recommend using that, though it's working if you need or if you prefer to communicate with your learners that way. But on our end, we usually redirect through regular email. It's just easier to follow up on, but that's something that you can use if you want. It's very populated right now, so I won't open it because it might be a little laggy, but it's very simple and it resembles anything that you would see on the email side. Like you put the destinataire and then your message, and that's it. Very simple. Yeah, so that's basically it for the home page. After that, you can view accounts. If you move your mouse through the little people there, you will see two options. It's possible at the beginning that you'll only see one. That is because group pages can only be accessed if your account is previously linked to the group. So at the beginning, you might just see learners because you possibly won't have groups. But don't worry if you don't see groups right away. It will show up as soon as you are assigned to a group. If you go on the learners, this will let you access all the individual learners that you are linked to, probably because you're doing tutoring with them or overseeing things with them, such as. So you have basic filters here. You can filter by status, various methods here that I would let you explore. The most used ones are last name, first name. You can also click search without any filters, which would give you a complete list, big picture of all of your learners. So that can be an interesting one as well. Once you access a list, or let's say if you had put only a name, probably we have only one, James Bond, my favorite. And so whenever you have the results at the bottom, you can click on the name to access the profile of the learner. So now we're in my profile of James Bond. So far, everything good? Yes. Goodie. All right, so you have a few information available on the profile of individual learners. That will be mainly how to connect with them. You can also view their progress. So if you want to track, view how they're working on their self-study. So to view that, you can go to My Program and Progress. In this page, you will see every modules that the learner has been working on, start date, end date, how much time, the status will be probably in progress. If there is nothing here, it means that the person didn't touch them yet. So no self-study was done. So if you see a blank page here, either remind your learner of doing their self-study, or maybe you can contact us to see if something's up. But very likely, if nothing shows up here, it's because there are no progress. You can view the details, but really it's a bit specific. You could view like what attempt the person did specifically and what activity and such. This is not mandatory to view, but you have access to that info if you need. Mainly what we're going to be looking at, especially on the tutor side, is the progress and results columns. The difference between those two is the first one relates to all the activities and such on the portal. So all the practice that they do, there's dialogue, various stuff there. And you have results, which is also a percentage, but is related to a final quiz that comes at the end of all the activities. So basically, what we want to view here as a tutor is if the person is progressing at a good pace so that they can obtain the 90% that is required. That is for the progress and results. For the methodology and really the material, you're going to view that with Miriam, that some of you might know. I heard her name before in the meeting, but yeah, she's going to go more in depth on the pedagogical side and things like that. But basically, if you want to view the progress, you need to be on the learner's page. And from there, it's My Program and Progress. If you don't know where to go, it's probably My Program because most of the options are there. The learners also have a calendar that they can view their upcoming sessions, stuff like that, but it's not really useful for us. We do, though, have a calendar as a tutor at the very top. So all the icons at the top are related to your account, basically. So maybe I'll go to groups before switching to the calendar, but we're going to go back to that real soon. On the groups page, as I said, you will only be able to access the ones that you are linked to. For this especially, I suggest hitting search only, because otherwise you have a whole list of the groups, which is not very user-friendly. And as I said, you will be viewing only the ones that you are assigned to. So basically the tutor name here would be you. In that case, it's Professori. But yeah, so it won't be a very long list. So that way you can easily navigate through the group's accounts. So we can go to that one. Is a test one that I use. So it's Bruce Wayne and James Bond. So you will have access to their info, like contact info, not personal. But you cannot click on James Bond or Bruce Wayne to access their personal profile. So that's normal. It's by design. If you need any info that's not here, you can contact us. It's just that way for groups. It's a bit more limited on here. Usually you will have the name and language. After that, the module they're in. In details will usually be the schedule. So jumping a few steps back with the accounts. So the learners accounts or the group accounts will be created by your account manager. So that's Juna. She said that for the individual learners, the way to register them for you will be either messaging her directly, so sending an email to Junavel with the info that we need. And there's also the option of sending a link where the learners can register themselves. So basically, they will receive a form similar to the one you will receive to activate your account. So they can either complete it to activate account that was created for them or create the account themselves. So the link would be shared with you if it's not already done. If you don't have the link and you would like to use it, don't hesitate to ask Juna. She'll have it close. For the groups, we will definitely be doing the portal profile like here. So basically, you don't have to create this. You just have to provide the info, like we need a group started in that module per se, or people evaluated to start in groups. The information we need is basically what we have here: full name, email address, and phone number. Phone number, especially if they're doing an evaluation. Like here, I put the fake phone number because it's not a real account. If the person is only doing group, maybe we don't need the phone number. It's especially for the evaluations that might take place over the phone. But the most important info we need to create an account on the portal is full name and email address. So any questions regarding that? Ça va? Good stuff. All right. On the calendar side. So, oh yeah, no, just because before I leave the group, you can also view the group progress. It's the same way, my program and progress right here. So it will show in a similar way, but you will see for Bruce and for James in the same place. Again, if someone doesn't show up, it's probably because they're not doing their self-study. So don't worry, or just remind them. On the calendar side, so we are back to our icons. So that is the calendar of me, Professori Tournesoli, tutor. So there is a bunch of things here. Basically, it's a calendar where we can view the dates and what they fall into. You can view by month, week, or day. Personally, I really like the month view, but you can test what works best for you. On there, you will have the event category here. So you have like the legend over here. So you see that we added some things to test. So we added vacation. You might want to use that or not. It's always best to also communicate directly if you are on vacation, but that's an option. You can add vacation days. There are also the statutory day, public holiday, and the lessons that you might have on your calendar that will be either orange for groups, right here. Sorry. Okay. And red or pink for the lessons. So lessons or learners always refer to individuals, whereas group lessons or groups refer to people that are in groups. So you have a bunch of options here, but I was told to show you only the book lesson. So you might not need to book a lesson, but just so you know how to use it if you need. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. You want to book a lesson, you click on that button, then you have the information here. So it says it can only be booked 24 hours ahead. Also a note that it's in Eastern time zone. So heure de l'Est, there is no like time converter on the calendar of the portal. It's the same time zone for everybody. So just consider it if you are in a different time zone, you need to do the conversion. There is here the category that's pretty important, where it determines what we see at the bottom after. So again, lessons is for individual, and then you have group sessions. So if I go back to lessons, here I view the learners list, and then group would be the group list. So what you need to do is first change the category to the one you need. From after that, you choose the correct group. Yeah, I'll try that one. It's okay. I'll remove it afterwards. And so it by default gives me the 19 because it's 1 day from now. And then given that it's okay, I can leave it as is. Otherwise, I open the little calendar thingy here and I get more options. I could not book retroactively for the day before. For example, it won't let me. So let's say we go with the 19 and we do, let's say, 10 off. So in the drop-down menus, you can either scroll through or you can also type in and then click OK. It's the same way for the group name. So if you wanted to change, you could write the first letters and find it easily. You can leave a note if need be. The current module will be determined by default. So the only things that you have to worry about are categories. Who are you booking the lessons for? Time and date. And then respect the 24 hours policy. And then we click OK. Et voilà, so I booked for 19 at 10. So it shows up here now. And if we would want to make a modification, like it's not the right time, or maybe we confuse the name of the groups. So we cannot edit that, although we can click on it to view again the pop-up that we had before. I think, yeah, it leaves me change the date, but as you see, it's always grayed out here, so I cannot change anything. If I wanted to change this, I would have to cancel and then do it again. I will click cancel. And now here is just something to be aware of. I don't know exactly what will be the policy with you guys, how you're going to be using this function, but basically it says whenever it's 24 hours or less cancellation, there is a cancellation policy in place. That's usually chargeable within 24 hours, but you always have the options to say no. Like for say, if me, I just made a mistake, it wasn't the right time or whatever, I don't want to charge this, I just press no. Or like this, it was a test, so I can press no. Depending on if you use this functionality and stuff, you might want to click yes as well, see if someone canceled last minute. And right there is just given a reason, so I'll just write test and then press OK, and it should disappear. All right, so it's not there anymore on the 19th. Everyone still good? Ça va? Great. All right, So I have a few things left to show you guys. So I will leave the calendar because it's the only functionality that we'll really use with your situation. So book a lesson. We also have on the icons above here, learning materials. So that is the famous modules. So basically, you have access to 3 versions. It might show a little bit differently on your account. I know this is a test account, so it might be a bit different, but what we're going to use, well, most of our learners use, are the HTML5 modules. So basically, that's related to the version of the website. Pretty easily, if you click on the flex ones, if you have access to that, you'll see that it just doesn't work. It's not supported anymore. You might not have access to it, but just so you know, those are not the modules that we use at the moment. It's just older versions. So HTML5 modules are the one we use. There is 2 columns, so you see like module 11 once and another time. Basically, the first one is for English second language, and then French second language. Again, if you click on the material, it'll open the module like that, and you will see at the top left what's the type of language course. So that is for English classes. So it might be your case, or it might be more in French. So then you want to see Pour l'amour du français on the left, if it's for French. You should have access to 0 to 15, again, for the methodology and pedagogy, like more in depth of what's in those modules and how to use them. You'll see that with my colleague later on. But just so you know how to access it, it's in learning materials at the top of the page. This can also be referred to if a learner has some questions, like very specific, you want to see what they see. But whenever it's a very technical question, or they're having issues saving their progress or whatever, you can redirect to the gestionnaire de compte account manager. That is Juna. And lastly, we have some support directly included in there. You can also message us. It's always a pleasure, but there is some things that you can learn for yourself there or just refer to. So there is a learning community. There's also an help desk. We're going to click here first. You have learner's side or tutor's side. Basically, you have some channels here. So let's say we go in pedagogical questions for French learner, FSL, French second language. Then it's a type of forum. So we have some the level are separated, and then when you click on there, you see the comments, well, questions that were posted and the people's answers. So that can be useful, or you can refer your learners to that. On the tutor side, it's a bit similar, it's smaller. If you have more technical questions or pedagogical questions, if you want to view announcements that were made, so that can be very interesting. And help desk right here has basic guides, video tutorials, frequently asked questions, tech specs if you want them, or how to contact us as well. Although you can directly contact your account manager as you already have email and stuff. So this is the general coordinates that can be useful. Business hours as well, if you're wondering. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the platform. Does anyone have any questions? Anything? Yes, Carol, go ahead.
So you were talking about when you're booking lessons.
Yes.
So you have to do it at least 24 hours ahead, but you can do it a week ahead, or you only have 24 hours?
Oh, you can book it ahead, but just don't book it too last minute. But yeah, you can book a few ahead.
Okay, perfect. So because the way it sounded was that you had to wait 24 hours before you could book it, but that doesn't make sense, right? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, maybe I sounded that way, but yeah, it wasn't my intention. That you can only book one lesson at a time, though. But you can well, what I mean is when you do the action, you will only have one lesson added, but you can do it several times in like your day, and then schedule it for a few weeks ahead, stuff like that.
Perfect. Okay.
Anyone else has a question? No? All righty. Okay. Well, would you want me to show something else? Maybe some basic video tutorials just to get started with the portal? Can share that.
Yeah, I think that would be perfect if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
Yeah, it would be my pleasure. So we're going to the help desk and video tutorials. So LRDG portal. So that's something that you can use as well. Like when you start with a learner, you can redirect them to this. You can also copy the links and just have them see it.
Bonjour, my name is Nick, and today I will give you a walkthrough of the LRDG portal. The portal is a window into your language learning experience. From here, access our learning materials, track your progress, schedule your lessons, and even communicate with us directly. Are you ready? Let's go. To log in to your LRDG portal account, www.lrdgportal.com. Username and password. Enter the email address and password inscribed in your registration form, and then click on the Sign In button. The homepage is the first thing that you will see when you log in. You have a list of automatic messages, an announcement bar, a performance tracker, and a notepad. If you're in modules, you'll also find a progress bar and a link directly to your current module. At the top, you have a navigation bar with 8 options. First is the home, which leads back to this main page. Next is Messages, where you can review any and all notifications you've received in the course of your training. Then there's the My Program section, which is separated into 6. The course plan, which details the number of lessons and modules you've received. Reports, where you can see a detailed analysis of every evaluation. Lessons, which shows the number of lessons completed, booked, cancelled, and left in the progress, which shows you the score received for every exercise you've attempted, broken module, and your rate of completion if you're using the online modules. Learning, where you can access every module assigned to you, and finally, My Results, which progress module by module. The calendar is where you can set your availability for lessons, view your tutor's availability, and also book lessons. They'll appear in red on the screen. Book a lesson also brings you to the calendar and opens the Book a Lesson instantaneously. The learning community is...
On va prendre juste une petite pause de ça, juste pour aviser que ça, c'est la vue d'un apprenant. Fait que c'est ça, c'est un petit peu différent peut-être, mais est-ce que vous voyez que ça se ressemble quand même?
a forum where you can ask questions about grammar, vocabulary, syntax, and anything language related. Our tutors will be happy to help. Chit Chat allows you to find and match with users of similar who speak the opposite language. Once paired up, users can chat over the video, audio, or text and accelerate their language learning away from the class.
On peut fermer celui-là. Close. C'est ça aussi, if you don't remember how to book a lesson or stuff like that, there is some steps on there that you can view. How to log in, let's see. Oh, someone join. Bonjour. Et on va dans module, online modules. So how to access, that's probably on the learner's point of view again.
Bonjour. My name today, I will show you how to log into your learning materials. Are you ready? On y va. To access your learning materials, go to www.lrdgportal.com. In the password inscribed in your once you are logged in, go to My Program and choose Materials. The modules you are granted access to will have check marks. Click on one of them to open. If you have previously accessed the module and you simply would like to continue your learning, just click on the Continue button on the home page. It will direct you to the module you last worked on.
So again, this is the learner point of view, but it can be very useful. So to know that they have access directly on their own page, that they can continue to do the same. We can show it to you also. I'm just gonna look up James Bond, my favorite learner, and then act as him. All right, so that's the widget that they were showing. So basically, if a learner wants to access their material, it's also in the icons at the top, but it won't show like directly like you learning materials. They have to go to My Program, Learning Materials. So if I go, we see exactly the same thing that they had. So this learner has access to module 0 to 15. It could be different depending on the level. And most of the learners have access to their current module and the level and the modules below. It can be different depending on the contracts. But basically, if you go on home page again and you just click continue, it will bring you where you last saved progress. Or if you want to select another module or go a different place totally, you can click see more, and then you're back on the page that we were just before with My Program Learning Materials. Something that's important to know as well is that there can be only one page open on the module at the same time. That's because it reports to like the website to save the progress. It will probably tell you like you have two windows open, but yeah, it's not ideal. If some of your learners are doing that, they might have issues with saving their progress. Whenever you enter a module, it will ask you if you want to pick up where you left off. That's if you already used it, or you can also go to main menu at all times. So again, I won't go too much in depth in the modules because it'll be covered by my colleague Miriam. But yeah, that's how it shows up. And you can also come back at the main menu at all times. Let's try it if we open to. Yeah, okay, so basically it advised me here that I have two tabs open and that it might cause progress saving. So it should be easy to see. I'll go back in here. This is more for the usage of the learning materials. So I'll go back to this one. Listen, view session report. I don't know if we'll use it that much, but I can still show the video to you.
My name is. Are you ready to access your reports? Log in. To view your end of session reports, go to under My Program. Click on View ESR to open the report. If you wish to view.
So basically, there are reports whenever created automatically whenever you book a session. Yeah. So in the lessons page, it would show that way. Basically, you have all the completed sessions, if there were cancellation chargeable or not, and then those that aren't closed yet. So at any time, you can go back to that page to view the previous reports, or learners can also use that for homework, stuff like that. So that's a cool feature. Even if you don't book the session yourself, but they are booked on the portal, as long as they are completed, you can access the reports there. So that can be useful.
On View ESR to open the report. If you wish to view reports from previous modules, simply choose a module from the drop, and all completed reports should be available to you. To view your end of module evaluation reports, click on My Program and then choose Reports. Click on any report that you wish to open. I hope that you found this.
So this can be useful as well on the, I quit my page, but on the report section, again, it's always in My Program. You can view the evaluations reports. So I will go to change again. If you research a learner, it should show approximately that way, even though I'm connected as my account. So if you would want to see the lessons reports or the exam reports of James Bond, you have to research their name first. So once you are on their page, it's my program icon. So reports is right here. And similarly to in the video, you can see that this person made several evaluations. So you can click on either to view what the results were and lessons. Like they showed in the video, this will show the current module by default. So what is opened at the moment, but you can also scroll through the whole list if you want to view how previous modules happened. In the lessons page, you can also view the remaining hours if that's important to you in any way. And then when we saw like click view ESR, it's right here. This is cancellation, so we cannot really, well, there would be no info in the ESR, but for cancellations, you can also view details. And then you see it's probably the one I canceled earlier, no, 21st. All right, it was another test that I made, but it's written test here. So if there was a cancellation, you could see the details on there. I'll go to frequently asked questions. All right, so for a program, I will leave this part to Miriam, but there are a few topics there. Booking of preliminary oral evaluation. If your learners are doing some, I think it's going to be handled by Junavel. Otherwise, she's going to send instructions on how to book it. But it also is shown here how the learner can do it if they're doing it themselves. Access to the learning materials, they are given after the oral evaluation. So usually, like I said, it's triggered by the result you have. What is your level? You are given access to the modules accordingly. How I can see my tutor's availability is not really relevant to your case, I think. So I will skip that one. Book a lesson with my tutor. It's likely you that will book the session or Junavel if this is used. Cancel, I showed you, but there are some quick steps here. You can also book cancel from the lesson section, but I think it's just easier to go on the calendar. Again, there's a cancellation policy that might not apply to you guys. Ça, c'est une question intéressante. All right. So it's compatible with tablets, although people can experience some issues, but it says that it's compatible. So if they want to do their learnings on there, they can do it. It's always better on the computer though. And so yeah, so basically is there a guide? It relocates to the video so that we already seen. Technical questions. All right, so, oh yeah, change my password. I didn't show you that one. So you know that you can reset at any time on the login page. You can also, I think you can also reset from the profile, but you can change my password. So I will go back to my tutor's account just to show the real way. So I'm Professori again. So if you want to go to your profile, you need to scroll, well, bring your mouse to your name. Then you have options, my profile or log out. So you can also log out here if you need. My profile. So similarly to the learner's profile, you'll have your info there. If something changes, you can change it. Although username, I think you cannot change yourself. Yeah, it doesn't let me save or. It seems like it lets you do it, but okay. Well, usually it's changed by account managers, but basically if your phone number changes or whatever, you can put it there. And at the very bottom, you can change password. So there is no option to reset it here, but if you want to reset, maybe just log out and then I need to do it twice because I was impersonating an account. Sorry. So here the reset password. But if I log in, I go to my profile at the bottom. That is where I can change password. And yeah, it's gonna ask for. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not reset password, so technically you still know your old password. So you put it in and then a new one and confirm it. Very simple. Everything still clear? No questions, anyone? Yes. Okay, very good. So if no one has any other questions, I think I can leave you, have a little break for a few minutes before my colleague Miriam joins. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah.
Yes, that's perfect.
Courtney?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. I will make sure that the notes that I made can go your way. I won't be sending them probably, but yeah, we might interact again together in the future. So nice to meet you, and have an excellent day.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your week.
Merci. Thank you, Courtney. I will remain connected so that the oh, maybe I can pause the recording and then can figure it out with Miriam. I think I'm gonna leave it on because I cannot pause it. So I will just mute myself and shut the camera down. You can do the same, and you'll be with Miriam shortly. Again, thank you.
Hello. Hello, hello. It's okay. I know you're taking a break, but I just joined. I think Claudia has finished her part of the training.
Yeah, she
If I'm not
completed and she
mistaken.
said that we could have a little break and that you would join
It's
us. So
okay. It's okay. It's okay. We will resume in maybe 2-3 minutes. No problem. I'm just here so that the recording will continue, but I will be. I'm okay connected and there's no problem there.
perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Carole. Hello, bonjour. Hello, Nathalie. Bonjour. French, English?
Both, it's okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Nathalie, Carole. We're waiting for Catherine. And we have someone else here. Hello, Catherine. And Matthias, I think. Yes, Matthias should be there. Courtney and Stephanie were missing. I don't know
Hello.
if you are online. Hello, Matthias. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. And Stephanie, are you there?
Your call may be recorded.
Oh,
Hi, yeah, no, I'm here. I just have
Okay.
really bad reception.
Oh, I
so
see.
I don't have my camera on, but yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you so much. And Courtney, hello? Are you there? Maybe she pops in and out. She usually does that, so that's totally fine. Oh, Courtney, I don't see you though.
Hello, sorry.
Kind of like, no, that's okay. That's okay. Hi,
I'm
how
at the
are you?
office and sometimes the internet decides it doesn't want to work. So
Ah.
and I'm plugged in. So
It's the
I'm here.
summer. It's normal. Right. So hello everybody and welcome to the Train the Teacher training. Well, you started with Claudia, my colleague, so I hope the information was useful for everyone. So I was just curious. I don't recall having met any of you. I don't know if you've already taken the training with me. It's been a while now, but I think for most of you, it's the first time. So thank you for being there. So as we had already, let me introduce you to my colleague, Valerie. She's just going to be observing. So the Train the Teacher is basically for me to show you what we have as material. So Claudia started with the portal, so I hope that information was useful. And I don't know if you've already gotten your accounts as coordinators or as teachers. So if you haven't gotten your accounts, you can contact my colleague Junavel, who is in charge of all MFRC related issues. Okay, so I think Courtney, you posted Junavel's email address on the chat, so you can easily contact her by email, and she will respond as soon as possible. So we start with the actual training with methodology. Today we're going to be taking a look at the modules, the LRDG modules. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the LRDG methodology. And on Thursday, we're going to be talking about some classroom ideas that you have had. You might have with your students or with your teachers. I don't know who is a coordinator and who is a teacher in this instance. So, Natalie, are you a coordinator or a teacher?
A teacher.
You're a teacher. Okay.
Yes.
What about you, Carol?
Coordinator.
Okay. Thank you. And Stephanie?
I'm actually a navigator, but I do the second language training and some other programs for the MFRC. And I'm also a college professor, so I guess you could say I'm a teacher too.
You are a teacher, absolutely. Matthias, what about you?
Moi, je suis coordinateur au Centre des langues.
Okay, coordinator. All right. And Catherine? Okay. We don't hear you, but you don't seem to be muted. I don't know why. There is an issue with the sound, but it's okay. I think everybody's here to learn what is LRDG all about, methodology, etc. So I'm going to start today with the modules. So I'd like to introduce to you, this is something that we haven't implemented just yet because we are working on the new modules. So I'm going to show you very, very quickly what the new modules are going to look like. You will get the training, the proper training when the time comes. Let me know if you can see my screen. Are you able to see it? Okay,
Yes, we can see your
perfect.
screen.
Excellent. So when you sign in as a coordinator or as a teacher, you will have access to the modules. Now we have 3 types of modules here. One very important thing, don't pay attention to the flex modules that I'm right here highlighting. So the flex modules are very, very old and they are not useful anymore. So if you click on them, you will get nothing. So they are still there. We're working on taking them off and removing those flex modules. And then we have the HTML5 modules, which are the current modules that we are using, English and French. And then underneath you have the WCAG modules. And these are the new design modules. I'm just going to show you very quickly. So on the left column, you will see the English modules, and on the right, you will see the French module. So I'm going to open an English module. I'm just going to open module 10. And this is what you will see. Oh, they're not letting me. So as you can see, everything looks more modern. And because we are working on them, the modules are basically the same. It's the same information. It's just that the layout will be different. We will be working with units and categories. So if it's units, they will be similar to module 0 that we currently have. And the categories, I don't know if I can click on any of them here. Okay, so I need to sign in again.
Sorry to interrupt you quickly.
Yes.
We have had a brief overview of the WCAG modules.
That's correct.
For those people who have attended that meeting. If they haven't, I have a recording of it if they'd like to know more information on the WCAG modules.
Thank you, Courtney. That's correct. And that's great that you have the recording. I remember we did a short training on them. So you will see that you can also translate. You will see the translations. As I mentioned before, you have the units. And you also have the categories. So the old way, the old-fashioned way, we had the what's new section, the dialogues, the activities, and the final test. You can just go to the main menu, and for example, if you click on a unit, you will start with the what's new section, and this is where the students will learn the grammar rules, vocabulary, etc. So it's just that the layout is different, the colors are different, of course, and it will seem to be a little bit more user-friendly than the current modules that we have now. So as I mentioned before, this is a work in progress that will probably be accessible next year. And everybody will receive a proper training, longer training, longer than the one you will see in the recording Courtney is going to send you. Okay. All right. Just wanted you to show you a little bit of the new modules. We're excited about that. But the current modules that we're using are the HTML5 modules. So same thing, on the left column, you will find the English modules. On the right column, you will find the French modules. It's very easy to know which module is which because I'm clicking on an English module. And you will immediately see on the top left corner that it says for the love of English. So those are the modules for people who are studying English. If I click on the right module here, you will immediately see Problème du français. So you will know that everything is in French. These are for students who are studying French. All right. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what the modules are all about. I'm just going to open module 10. And there are different features for the module. So we have the objectives. So that's the main page when you open the module. And then you will see the communicative skills. And then on the other side, you will see the grammatical skills. So here you or your students, if they speak French, they will see that everything has been translated just by clicking afficher la traduction. You can change the settings and your students will be able to change the settings depending on the language they speak. So I can change it to English, right? And immediately you will see underneath show translation instead of afficher traduction. So every time you click on show translation, it will show in English or in French. Some of them, we have them in Spanish as well and in Mandarin. You will see that we have the main menu on the top left corner, and we have the different sections for each of the modules. So the first section is the What's New section, and this is where the students will learn all of the grammar that they will need when they do their self-study or their homework. Everything they will need in order for them to do the activities, okay, in the module. So there are the grammar rules, right? This is for module 10, and this is where they start learning the present perfect. So every time you click on one of the features here, there will be a an introduction to the topic. There will be a translation, English and French, and some examples as well. All right. So here, for example, if I click on the use of for and since, right? Same thing, you will see that the translation for the explanation is there and some of the examples as well. There is also a drop-down menu for vocabulary, and this is where they find all kinds of words, adjectives, adverbs. In this case, the adverbs will talk about time and frequency, etc. So they can just click on the one they want, or they can just scroll down with their mouse. Okay. The other drop-down menu is the workers lexicon, and this is more professional vocabulary, obviously business related vocabulary with, for example, problems and crisis situations. So all of these words will all have a translation in French. All right. Depending on the language, the settings are set up for, then there will be the translation. Okay. So we have more professional vocabulary, finance and titles and meetings, etc. So every single word will have its translation. All right. So this is the what's new section, and this is where the learners will go to learn basically the grammar rules so that they can practice and that they can apply them onto the activities. Now, if you click on the main menu, you can go to the dialogues. And here is where they will see, depending on the module, a full dialogue and business dialogue and social context dialogue. It depends on the module. Not all of the modules will have a social context and business context dialogue. In this case, it's just, it's both actually. Module 10 will include a little bit of both. And so the very first video is the full video, and it depends on the module, but it could be between 12 and 14 minutes long. But then it's divided into different scenes. So as you can see, there are 10 scenes for this specific dialogue. I'm going to show you a little bit of it. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a second because I will share the sound. And I will play a bit of one of the scenes. I'm just going to click on scene 4.
So, what's on the menu for this evening? What do you recommend?
You're in luck, sir. We're serving tossed salad with an oil and vinegar dressing. We also have pork chops with a rich mushroom sauce and roast chicken with dressing and seasoned gravy. You'll love the flavor.
All right. So just to show you a few seconds of one of the scenes, you will be able to see the whole video when you click on watching the full video. You can start from the beginning. You can stop, leave, do something else, come back and click on resume. And that's where you left off. And then you can just resume the video. Okay. For each of the scenes, there will be some activities to do as well. So when I click, I think I click on this scene. I don't remember exactly. I think it was 5 or 6, but it doesn't matter. You can start from the beginning. You watch the video. Your students will watch the video and they will have the chance to set up the speed. So they can go to ×1, ×2, etc. So the speakers in the video can speak a little bit faster according to your students' needs. There are other exercises or activities to do. So here you can click on listen and repeat. And this is an activity for them to practice a bit of pronunciation. So I'm just going to click on play button.
Now, let's have a look at our directions.
All right. So obviously the exercises listen and repeat will have to do with the scene, right? And what your students can do, they can record themselves by clicking on the little microphone here, and they can listen to themselves. And there are about 33 short passages that are included in that scene that they can just listen and repeat to work with pronunciation. Okay. The other activity they have is the questions. So again, they will listen to part of that scene and then they will click on the right answer. So I'm going to play this one here.
Number 2.
Ted and Jennifer will pass by.
Right? And then your students will have to click on the answer that they think is the correct one. So I'm just going to click on any of them just to show you what happens. So I clicked on answer number 3, which was the wrong answer. The system is telling me that the answer that I clicked on was the wrong one, and they are showing me the correct one. So I will not be able to go back and do it again until I complete the 4 pages that I have for the questions, right? So if I want to do it again, I can start from the beginning and then I will be able to click on the right answers if I wish to do so. All right. At the end of each dialogue scene, we have the transcript. So this is something that you will be able to work with your students. On Thursday, we will be talking about how to use the transcript to work with your students in the classroom. So in this case, and still for these modules, we can actually click on the expressions in blue on the word or the words in blue, and they will give us some information. So I clicked on the word distance in this case, and the system is telling me that it's a noun, and they are giving me the translation in French. All right. With the new modules, the WCAG modules, this feature will disappear, but there will be another feature that will show the students or the teachers again what they are missing. So it will be in another form, not by clicking on the blue words or expressions. So far and until we receive the new modules, you can do this with your students. Obviously, this will happen in English and in French. I will show you a bit of a French module as well. So you can do that by clicking here, and they will show you that one is the verb, one is an adverb and verb, and the translation in French. Okay? So far, so good? All right, so we have the dialogues, and coming back to the dialogue review. This is something that is very useful because this is where your students and yourselves, you will find the transcripts for every single scene in the dialogue, in the whole video. So you can go scene by scene, right? And your students can listen to the scene, right? There's no image, it's only the sound, and they have the transcript, just like they did for each of the scenes, okay? And once your students have completed all of the dialogues, it would be required of them to complete 90% of the dialogues. We will talk about that 90% a little bit later on. And then they will have to do the dialogue quiz. So the dialogue quiz is basically listening to some expressions, some phrases, and they will have to click on true or false.
Number 3.
The flight attendant says that some passengers will be in a different world after they eat the food she recommends.
So if I click on true, the system again is telling me that that was the incorrect answer, and the correct answer was false. So once again, I cannot go back and click on the same question again or the same answer. I just need to finish the whole exercise, and then I can start from the beginning and do it again, okay, as many times as I want to as a student. Any questions so far? All right. So now let's move on to the activities. So the activities obviously will have to do with the dialogue. So everything is linked. We have the What's New section. This is where they learn the grammar structures, grammar rules, vocabulary, etc. And then we have the dialogues. They can listen and watch the dialogues. They can practice the vocabulary there in context, and then they will be able to do the activities. By they, I mean the students, okay? But you can also do them. It's obviously up to you if you want to try some of the activities, even if you want to try them on the your second official language is fine. You will have access to both French and English modules as coordinators and as teachers, okay? So then you can have the activities, and for the activities we have different types of activities, so the students don't get really bored with them. So I'm going to show you some of the types of activities. So I'm just going to click on activity number 12. So one important thing is that for each activity you will have a description, right? And there will be some instructions once you click on start from the beginning. Some activities in the description will include examples, all right? But not all of the activities will include examples. So your students will have to pay attention to the description. And because not all of the activities have examples, they will definitely have to study the What's New section first, or the grammar rules and vocabulary that they will need to do an activity, all right? Some students, what they will do is to go to the activity first, and obviously they will not get a good result at the end, right? Because after each activity, they will get a score, and they will have to attain a 90% for that score in order for them to continue doing other activities. But If they didn't check out the what's new section or the dialogues, they will have a lot of issues, a lot of difficulty trying to answer any of the activities. So what we recommend is for you to tell your students, okay, so first of all, go to the what's new section. This is where you will learn the grammar rules and the vocabulary that you will need. And then they can either do an activity and then watch a video, right? Or they can watch a video and then do the activity. All right. It will depend on them. But what we really recommend is for them to go to the What's New section or the Nouveauté in French to understand the grammar rules that they need and the vocabulary they will need. Okay. So this activity in particular is what we call a drag and drop activity. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. And there are certain instructions. I would recommend that you tell your students to read the instructions carefully. And there will be some instruction. All of the instructions are very clear, and they can obviously read them in French. Once they click on show translation, they can definitely read them in French. And so in this instance, they will have to listen to some phrases, and then they will take one of the answers and drag and drop it wherever they think it goes. So I'm just gonna click here.
Number 2. I'll bet you that we'll eat very well in executive class.
Okay. Let's see. I will take this one and I will put it there. So the system is telling me, yes, that's the right answer to that specific phrase that was mentioned. Okay. So this is one type of activity that we have. Another type of activity is this one. So I'm just going to go back to activities here and click on number 3. Again, we only have the description in this case. There are no examples per se. So we'll start from the beginning, and this is a drop-down menu. So here what they have to do is to click on the arrow and just click on the answer they think goes with that specific sentence. Again, the system is telling me that it's not the right answer. There should be a different answer. However, I will need to finish this activity, right, in order for me to start again and start from the beginning. So underneath here, there are 5 questions. So this is question 1 out of 5. And then the score. So every time I finish an activity, my score will be shown. And obviously, if I have less than 90%, it would be a very good idea as a student to do that activity again so that I understand precisely what the vocabulary is in this case. All right. We have another type of activity, activity number 10. So that I wanted to show you here. So as you can see, this activity contains a description, but it also contains examples, something that we didn't see before in the 2 previous activities. So I'm going to start from the beginning. And in this case, it's to click the correct box. All right. So once again, you click there and the system is telling me, no, that was not the right answer. If is the right answer. So again, I will have to complete this activity because there are 10 questions. So there are 5 questions on this page and there are 5 more on this page. My score will show. And if I have 90%, it will be up to me as a student to do that activity again because I attained that minimum 90%. But what if I want to get 100% so I can do it again from the beginning? Another activity, another type of activity that I wanted to show you. Once again, there's only the description. And again, here you listen to the sentence, and then you have to click, or sometimes you have to type. It depends on the activity. I think this is only click, so again.
Number 1. Where's Ted's office?
right? So here they will have to give directions and click on the answers they think go well. And the system will tell them which answers are right and which answers are wrong. And there are 15 questions similar to this one. Another type of activity. And again, here we have the description and some explanation of, this is for adverbs, right? Adverbs finishing with ly. And this is one of the activities that really have to pay attention to the instructions, because these types of activities is where they have to actually type their answers. So they will type the word, and then they will have to press enter on their keyboard. If they don't press enter on the keyboard, the answer will not be registered and it will look as if it wasn't completed. All right. So it's on the instructions, it clearly says press enter, the enter key after typing to validate each answer. So they really have to make sure, because sometimes students will say, oh, but the answer was correct, but it shows as incomplete. It's probably because they didn't press enter on their keyboard. Okay, so again, please tell your students to read the instructions for every single activity. The instructions are clear, and so that they can answer and be sure that the answers are registered on the system. Okay. And I think I have one more activity, but this is word order. So this is going to be another module because it's a more complex module. I'm going to go to the main menu, and this is activity 6, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So here, the description is there, and there are some examples, okay, with some translations as well. So I'm going to click on start from the beginning. Right, and this is word order. So here they will work with the syntax, and this also, I have to repeat, it exists, all these types of activities, obviously not the same grammar, but it exists in the French modules as well, okay? So here they will have to drag and drop and work with the word order. Okay, and so not all of the modules will contain exactly the same activities, but they are varied activities. So I just showed you some of them, all right, that you can also work with together with your students. All right, any questions so far? Okay. All right. So when we talk about activities, activities are usually divided into different aspects of what the students are learning. So the first activities, and there is no specific number from 1 to 4, 1 to 5, but usually the first type of activities have to do with vocabulary. So if you want to work with your students regarding vocabulary, so they will go to the What's New section and then click on vocabulary, and you can study vocabulary. So the first activities they will do will have to do with the vocabulary. Then the second part of the activities will have to do more with grammar and verb conjugation for different verb tenses. And then the last activity. So this is very important for everybody to know. We have, for every single module, we will have an activity called It Means. And as you can see, it is there. It's number 15. That's activity number 15. Sometimes it's activity number 19 or 20, depending on how many activities there are in each of the modules. So in this module 10, the activity It Means is number 15. So when the students have completed their activities where they have actually learned everything that has to do with the module. In this case, the grammar structures were the most important. Grammar structure is the present perfect. There is additional vocabulary that they can learn, which sometimes has nothing to do with the module, but it's there for them to study the same. So additional vocabulary will start at the activity that is called It Means. In French is the activity called Ça veut dire. And all of the modules will have this activity. So when they click on any of those activities, it's basically a little bit of vocabulary. In this case, it's getting around Europe and health and fitness tips. So not much to do with the theme of the module, but it's just additional vocabulary for them to learn. Okay, so this type of activity, starting at It Means, that information will not be included in the oral evaluation that they will take at the end of the module. Okay, it's basically extra information, extra vocabulary for them to learn. Okay, so every single module will have that feature. It Means. Okay, any questions? All right. So once the learners have completed the module, it has to be at 90%. So when we talk about the What's New section, the dialogues and the activities, the students must have a 90% progress in order for them to do the final quiz and to do the oral evaluation. We always ask the students to complete 90% in their module. The reason is, if they complete 80%, there will always be some knowledge that they will not understand or they will not see, and it will be very difficult for them when they move on to the next module. So that 90% will allow them to, obviously, if they complete it at 100%, it's even better, it's perfect, but the minimum pass mark will be 90% for everything. What's New section, dialogues, activities, final quiz online, and the oral evaluation. So that's the standard, the LRDG standard pass mark that we ask the students to complete 90% in order for them to move on to the next module. Okay? Is that okay? Is that clear enough? Why 90%? I don't hear anyone, so I guess you are okay with this. All right. So once they complete their activities, their dialogues, and the What's New section, the learners are going to be doing a final quiz. This is a final quiz online. And they will have different sections depending on the module. Sometimes they have 5 sections, like in this case, and sometimes they have 15 sections. It depends on the module. So for module 10, we have 5 sections, and it is different types of activities that they have already gotten used to because they have been working with that type of activity, which is multiple choice, drag and drop, and multiple choice with audio. All right, so the types of activities that I showed you will be included in the final quiz. So they can either start from the beginning. We usually ask them to work on the final quiz for about an hour, if they can spare an hour of their time, because that's more or less how long it takes to do the final quiz. But if they cannot take a full hour, they can start, and then wherever they stop, they can resume later on. So the resume button will appear in green when they come back to their account, their profile. Okay. So when I click on the first one, I have multiple choice, and I can just click on any answer, and I have to submit. The system, the first attempt, the system will not tell me whether my answer is correct or incorrect. I will have to complete all of my final quiz till the end, right? The 5 sections, in order to get a percentage, only a percentage. So if I obtain 90%, good for me as a student. And I can do the final quiz again if I wanted to, right? I can start from the beginning and redo it. I can redo the final test as many times as I want. If I didn't get 90% my final quiz, then I will have to do it again because I didn't attain the minimum 90%. The timer here that is on the right, we don't really pay attention to that. It will disappear eventually. So please ask your students not to pay attention to the timer there. We don't use it. If I didn't obtain 90%, definitely I will have to redo the final quiz because I need to obtain a 90%. So I will have a second attempt, and it will be exactly the same. So I will click on the answer that I think is the good one, submit the answer, but I will not get any information whether my answer was right or wrong. At the end, again, I will receive a percentage of progression. And then I will have a third attempt. Whether I had 90% from the beginning or not, I can do it again. However, as of the third attempt, that's when the system will tell me which answer is wrong and an explanation of why this answer that I clicked on was wrong. So it's only as of the third attempt where when I will get some kind of information from the system, right or wrong, etc. And after the third attempt, I can redo the final quiz as many times as I want. So after the third attempt, I will get some sort of explanation when I click on any wrong answer. Okay? So once I have the final quiz, I completed my module, I have 90% everywhere, my what's new section, my dialogues, activities, the final quiz, and then it will be time for me to do my oral evaluation. All right, so we will talk about the evaluations tomorrow. We will talk a little bit about the methodology and the first the preliminary oral evaluations that we call those are the placement tests. We will talk about them, and we will also talk about the final oral evaluation. So at the end of the module, once the learners have completed the module, what that evaluation entails. Okay. We have some additional activities for beginner levels, for intermediate levels, and for advanced levels after 3 of our modules. I'm going to show them to you in a second. So I'm just going to close module 10, and the same goes with French. After module 7, after module 12, and after module 15, we will have some extra activities, it's kind of a quiz, reading comprehension, written expression tests that we will not take into account for the advancement or for the progress of our students. It's just additional information they will see. So I'm going to click on module 7 in English. I'm going to go to the main menu and click on final quiz. So here on the final quiz, you'll see that they have the final quiz, the actual final quiz that I just showed you, and there are additional activities. So this is basically for beginner level, and it's more reading comprehension and written expression. So I'm just going to click here, and they will listen to some some kind of speech, and then the students will have to click on the answer that they think is the right one. So it's all multiple choice. So listening, because it's the beginner level, so it's listening and then clicking on the choice they want to. And they will have a score, and they can do it again and again and again, no problem. All right. So this is one of the activities, and this is for beginner level, reading comprehension and written expression. After module 12, we have the additional activities, and these are for intermediate level students. So once again, you have to go to the final quiz and then click on the second, on number 2, get to the top, and it's level intermediate. So for level intermediate, there are some listening comprehension activities, and I think this is, yes, so this is written expression rather. So they will have activities such as error recognition, grammar, conjugation. So it's not really writing. They're not writing anything. They're clicking on the answer. But because it's grammar, we consider it written expression as well. Okay? And finally, after module 15, they will have additional activities for advanced levels. So once again, module 15. And module 15, there is no final quiz actually. Module 15 is a compilation of different modules, and there is nothing new really to learn. It's just a revision of all of the modules, but the additional activities are here. So when I click on the additional activity, as you can see, because it's for more advanced students, the texts are more complex, of course, and here they will have to pay attention to the vocabulary, the usage of synonyms. Do they understand the context? Do they understand the full, the main idea, etc., etc.? We have some listening comprehension activities. So here the students can do these activities on their own, and this will not be taken into account for the exams. It's just extra information for them, of course. Okay, any questions? All right, so I need to talk about the link again. One more time, I have to insist on that link between the What's New section and the dialogues, and then between the What's New section and the activities, and the link. Everything is linked. What's New section, dialogues, activities, they are all linked. So if the student doesn't do an activity, they might not be able to get the context of the dialogue, and it's because probably they didn't go to the What's New section to learn the grammar notion, the grammar rule that they needed to complete that one activity, or to understand what the dialogue was saying. Okay, so please make sure that you talk to your students and make them understand that, yes, first do the What's New section. This is where you will learn the grammar rule. Then you can either do the activities, not all of the activities at once. Of course, they will have certain activities that you will tell them to do, and then the dialogues. In the package that I will send you on Thursday after the last day of training, you will see some documents called learning blocks, and I will show them to you tomorrow. But those learning blocks are guidelines for you and for your learners to follow in order to have this kind of relation or link between a dialogue and an activity. Okay, so the document will say, so go to the What's New section, watch dialogue scene 5, for example, and then do activity 3, activity 5, etc., etc. Okay, so it's more like a guideline for you and for your learners. You will get that in the package. It's called learning blocks, and we have learning blocks as of module 1 until module 14. So module 15, as I mentioned before, it's just a review of all modules. And module 0, there is really no learning blocks. I will show you module 0 in a second. It works in a different way. Module 0 in English or in French is very basic. Really, that's where the students will start learning the alphabet, etc. Okay, so it's very, very basic. Okay, so let me just see here. What else? Okay, I'm going to give you the demo of module 0. And then I will show you a bit of the French modules. Right, so module 0 will be the same. Again, you can show translation if you want to. There will be the objectives, what the students will learn to communicate. In this case, you have the communicative skills and everything they will learn to communicate. And then the grammar skills they are learning in module 0. So I'm going to go to the main menu, and you will see that it doesn't work the same way as the other modules, right? Module 0 works with units. They also have a review of the module, and they also have a final quiz. So they will go by units. So they will go one by one. If you wish to do so with your students, you can pick and choose some of the activities per unit, but start at unit 1. That's the most important thing, that you start in order. So unit 1, then unit 2, and once you are in one unit, then you can choose the activities and the dialogues they can listen to, they can watch. There is a review. So these are only activities where they have to answer the this is listening, and then they will just have to type, right? So again, this is one of the activities where they have to read the instructions and press enter on their keyboard. Excuse me. So the answers are registered on the system. Okay. And then they also have a final quiz. So it looks exactly the same as the other final quizzes in other modules. As you can see, there are 10 sections, but smaller sections because it's module 0, right? They are just learning the very basics of either language. And again, they can start from the beginning and come back. So they will listen, and they will have to read. They will have to read the instructions because they will have to click enter. Here is one of those activities, again, where they have to type, and they will have to press enter on their keyboard. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, we're almost done. One of the questions I get, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen, is how long does it take to complete a module? So I have a question for each of you. How long are each of the classes, an actual class that you are teaching or your teachers are teaching in your centers? If anyone has any idea, how long does a class last? Is it 1 hour long, 2 hours, 90 minutes?
We don't have a teacher here, so I can't answer that for you.
Okay, thank you, Carole. Anyone else who might have an idea?
Moi, les classes que je donnais, c'était 90 minutes. C'était 1h30.
Par semaine, Nathalie?
Non, c'était 2 fois par semaine, donc c'était 3 heures par semaine.
3 heures par semaine. Okay, 3 hours per week. Thank you.
Yes.
Merci. Anyone else? All right. So and when you do 90 minutes, how per class or 3 hours per week. Natalie, in this case, how long is the session? Is it 12 weeks, 10 weeks long?
10 weeks.
10 weeks, this semester.
Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. So as teachers or as coordinators, you will have to tell your teachers you will be able to manage your time. So each module, English module, takes about 20 hours to be completed. So you can calculate your time, but at the same time, you will need to foresee that you will need time for the oral evaluation, which takes place at the end of the session, at the end of the module, and the preliminary oral evaluation or the placement test, which could be done by the coordinators prior to starting the session or the very first class. It depends on your center. I don't know how they will work on that, but you will have to think about that time. Obviously, you will have to think about the number of hours that it will take, more or less. For English modules, you will have about 20 hours of material. And for French, it's about 35 hours. French is harder, obviously, for a lot of people. So it has much more material, more grammar rules, etc. So for the modules in French, it will take about 35 hours to complete it. Okay, so just so you know how long the sessions will last, what material to do, what to do in class, etc. We will talk about all of those things and ideas for the classroom and the days to come. So tomorrow, as I mentioned before, tomorrow we will be talking about the methodology. And in that methodology, we will talk about the exams, the placement tests, and the oral evaluation at the end of the module, how to conduct it, etc. And we will go more into deep with the modules as well. All right. Do you have any questions before we complete our second hour of training? So far, so good? Excellent. Thank you so much. So thank you, everybody, for being here. And oh, Stephanie, you have a question. Go for it, please.
It wasn't a question. I was actually just trying to give you a thumbs up saying everything.
Oh, thank you so much. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So I will see you back tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern. Excellent. Have a great lunch. I don't know where you are located tomorrow. We will talk about where you are located. We will have a little bit more time. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow.
Thanks so much,
Merci,
Miriam. Have a great
Myriam,
rest of your
Adina.
day.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.